Hi everybody, if you don't know me already, my name is Kaylee. I am a gut health nutrition coach. I help people to get to the root cause of their gut issues, whether that's constipation, bloating, abdominal pain, food sensitivities, hormonal issues, skin issues, anything kind of like that. I help people get to the root cause of these issues, and then I help them to overcome these issues step by step using the principles of ancestral nutrition as well as some other holistic health principles. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about 5 gut healing foods, and then I'm going to give you 9 different recipes using these foods as well. So if you have already kind of focused on, what you need to cut out food-wise, which gets a lot of attention and it is important, but now you want to know what you should include because you don't have to cut out a million things to heal your gut and to overcome these symptoms. You do have to cut out some things, but it doesn't have to be too crazy, and you have to eat something. And then also it's really, really important to add these 5 foods I'm going to talk about today to speed up your recovery because your body needs nutrients to heal itself. So these foods are going to be really nutrient dense and provide the right nutrients to heal your gut lining, to balance your microbiome, and to heal your gut faster. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. And before we get too far in the video, I want to let you know that I just released a free training in my Facebook group, and the training is on the non-dietary things to do to heal your gut. So it pairs very nicely with this video. This one you get the dietary things to do, and then in that free training you get the non-dietary things to do, which are also very important for healing your gut. So if you're interested in that, when you're done watching this video, go check out that link below and you can click the link, join my Facebook group, watch that free training and all the other free trainings I have in there that are only in my Facebook group. So let's get into it. Food number 1 is bone broth. Now, you've probably heard of this one because it's talked about all the time, but that's because it is just so darn important for healing your gut. So bone broth is, when made well, very, very rich in collagen. So if you've seen people with their wiggly jiggly broth, I show my wiggly broth sometimes on my stories. That is very, very collagen rich broth. And that means that it was made with bones that had a lot of collagen, and then the collagen went from the bones into the broth. And that's why collagen and gelatin are very similar. So that's why it's gelatinous broth. So good cuts to use are going to be things like chicken feet. I just actually yesterday made the jiggliest broth I've ever made, and that was with chicken feet and the ham marrow bone from my Thanksgiving ham. So yeah, it had a bunch of marrow. I just put the big bone in there and I put the chicken feet in there, and it's the most gelatinous broth I've ever got in my life. So it's really important to get that. I have a bone broth recipe, which I'm going to link below. It's one of the 9 recipes. And in there, I talk about all the different cuts to use, like marrow bones, chicken feet, chicken heads, if you can find them, pig's feet, things like that. I list them all below, so you don't have to memorize them now. And then I give you a few more tips to get a really collagen-rich broth. So you want this because collagen and one of the amino acids in collagen, glycine, are so important for healing your gut lining. Our body actually is, I think, around 30% of the protein is collagen, so we actually have a lot of collagen. And nowadays, people are eating a lot of like steak, chicken breast, just muscle meat when it comes to meat. But we need a lot of collagen because, like I said, about 30% of our body is made of collagen. So we need that too, and we just do not get enough if we're only eating muscle meat. And not only do we need it for like our joints, our skin, our hair, everything, we need it to heal our gut lining. And yeah, if you don't intentionally add this into your diet, you're likely going to be missing it unless you eat like a super ancestral nose to tail old-fashioned diet already. So definitely get that bone broth in there. And the second food is going to kind of pair with this, but it's collagen-rich cuts of meat. So in addition to the bone broth, or, you can kind of do one or the other, but it's usually best to do both, you want to include collagen-rich cuts of meat. So these are the cuts that most people don't eat very often. So you're going to have things like oxtail, things that have a big bone that, you know, when you eat oxtail, it kind of gels up on the side. That's collagen right there. So if you have things like that, if you have any cut with a marrow bone in it, you can scoop out that marrow and eat it. Bone marrow is just excellent for your gut. Again, it helps with healing and sealing that gut lining. So if you have leaky gut, then this is excellent. And if you have like ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, if you have any like lesions or damage on your gut lining, this is what's going to repair it. So yeah, go for bone marrow, go for tough cuts that you have to slow cook. So things like chuck roasts or brisket are excellent. Poultry, if you get skin on, bone in, is really good. Cooking the whole chicken is awesome. When you have the joints, really gnaw on the joints, and you'll get some extra collagen rich stuff there. Chicken wings are really good. Yeah, stuff kind of like that is going to be awesome. Any kind of slow cooked meat. So all that's going to be great. I have a few recipes below for like collagen rich things. So it's going to be, I have a chuck roast recipe, which you can also use it for brisket. I use the same recipe for when I make brisket, so you can use it for either one. And then I have a recipe for bone marrow. So if you get the marrow bones that are cut in half like long ways, I have a recipe for how you can roast that and some seasoning you can put on it that makes it really, really yummy, and you just scoop out the bone marrow and it's super good for you. So you can do that. And then I have one more recipe, which is my Tom Kha Gai soup, which is made with a whole chicken. So it's a chicken stock, because you don't cook the chicken in the water for too long. It's only an hour, so it's not quite a bone broth, but it's a meat stock, which is still really good for you. So you'll have that, and then you're consuming the whole chicken. So yeah, it's got a lot of collagen in it. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, so that's my 3 recipes for this that are all going to be below. And then my third food is animal fat. So animal fat is pretty easy to digest and very friendly to your gut. It's not going to cause any damage, and it's going to give you a lot of energy, which you've likely cut out a lot of carbs, because a lot of carbs tend to be gut damaging foods. Now, this isn't always true. You might eat a lot of like squashes and fruits and stuff, which are very good for you. But if you're not going that route, you've cut out probably a lot of grains, legumes, stuff kind of like that. So you need to make sure you're getting enough energy, and fat is going to be really important for this. Also, when you're eating really healthy animal fats like dairy and like butter, ghee, eggs, milk, lard, tallow, things like this, they are actually really rich in fat-soluble nutrients, and they're rich in the right form. So that's really important. So they're going to have like vitamin A, D, E, and K. These are fat-soluble nutrients, and they're really, really important for healing your gut lining again. So this is going to be important for that reason. And then we need to eat fat to help stimulate our bile flow, which is an important part of digestion. So it's very helpful there as well. And then on my recipe, I decided for this one is hollandaise sauce, which I love and eat every day and have for like 3 years. Pretty much every day I've had hollandaise sauce. It's very good. So basically this is like egg yolks and butter, and it's delicious, and you can have it with your breakfast. So I decided to put that with this one because it's just an easy way to get more egg yolks, more butter, and more like really healthy fat. It's also a good way to get a little bit more calories in, and is just very satiating and delicious, and it's really awesome. So I have that below too. And then my 4th category is fermented foods. So these are really, really important for your gut microbiome. A lot of times we have a gut bacteria imbalance when we have gut issues, like the bad bacteria got out of hand and kind of took over, and there's too many of them and there's not enough of the good guys. So one of the most important things we can do here is to introduce more good guys, and that is what the fermented foods do. So you can use yogurt, kefir, any kind of fermented dairy. You can also do fermented veggies, kimchi, sauerkraut. Anything like this is going to be so, so helpful for you. So I have 2 recipes for this. One is fermented veggies. This is very, very easy. It's chop up veggies and put them in salt water and like let them sit. It's very easy. It's very good. And then I also have a sauerkraut recipe, which is really, really delicious as well. So both of those are super helpful. You can do fermented veggies. You can do fermented dairy, whichever you prefer. So then My fifth food, or category of foods, I guess I probably should call this, is organ meats. So if you follow me on Instagram or my blog or have watched my YouTube videos before, then you might have heard me you probably heard me talk about organ meats before because I talk about them a lot. So organ meats are very, very nutrient rich. They are just jam-packed with nutrients, and these nutrients are very bioavailable. We can absorb them super easily, and they're in the right forms that we need, and they're in the right proportions. So we have complementary nutrients together. We don't have like way too many of one nutrient that's going to throw off the balance of another one. They are really like nature's superfoods and vitamins. So organ meats are going to be really important. Liver is the most nutrient rich. If you're going to have one organ meat, liver is the way to go. Yeah, so I really recommend you have these. We need nutrients to heal our body. We need nutrients for our digestion. We need nutrients to make digestive enzymes so our digestive system functions properly. Any problems we have, we need nutrients to fix them. So it's really important that you're getting enough, and organ meats I have found are just the best way to do that. I really, really advocate for a nose to tail diet, eating as much of the animal as you can, because the ancestral principle of like heals like teaches us that whatever you eat is good for that part in you. If you eat liver, it's good for your liver. If you eat muscle, it's good for your muscles. If you eat joints, it's good for your joints. If you eat bones, it's good for your bones. And the reasoning behind this is because animals store the same kind of nutrients that we do. So, bones have calcium and phosphorus and collagen and all these other nutrients in them, lots of minerals, magnesium and whatnot. And those are the same nutrients that we need for our bones to be strong. So if we eat the bones, we get the nutrients that we need for our bones. So that's how it works. So that's why I really like to eat in proportion to the animal as best as possible too. Like I talked about that, about 30% of our protein is collagen. So about 30% of the protein we should be getting should be rich in collagen. And that just ensures that we're getting our nutrients in the right proportion. So it's similar with organ meats. Ideally, you would eat as many as possible. And you want around 1 ounce of organs to every 10 ounce of muscle meat that you eat. That just kind of mimics the animal again. Another easy way to do this is to buy a whole chicken. Cook the chicken, eat all the meat, use the bones for bone stock, and use the organs in a dish. And that's a really good way to follow like nose to tail kind of principles there. And yeah, so that is my fifth food. I have 2 recipes for that. I have a beef liver and heart pate. And then I also have a sauteed liver with steamed broccoli, roasted carrots and onions and pesto. So I have 2 different ways you can eat liver, and I have lots of tips in both of those recipes on how to cook liver so it tastes better. If you've never had liver before, it still might be a little bit of a shock, but you can make it taste a lot better if you do use these tips that I give you in those recipes. And again, both of those and all the recipes I mentioned are below. So yeah, these are my 5 foods that I think you should include, and I recommend all of my clients to include. And these are foods that I ate lots of when I was healing my gut, and it just helps so, so much. It really provides the nutrients you need to heal your body and to just thrive in every single way. So again, those 5 foods are bone broth, collagen-rich cuts of meat, animal fat, fermented foods, and organ meats. And those 9 recipes that I said before, chuck roast, bone marrow, tom kha gai, soup, bone broth, sauerkraut, fermented veggies, hollandaise sauce, liver pate, and sauteed liver with broccoli and carrots and onions and pesto. All of those are linked below. And then, like I mentioned at the beginning, I did just create a free training in my Facebook group, which pairs very nicely with this because it is non-dietary ways to heal your gut, which diet is so, so important, but there are other things that are really just as important for healing your gut. So if you want to learn what those are, click that link down below, join my Facebook group, and you can watch the free training there. And I actually have lots of free trainings that I only share in that Facebook group, so you'll get access to all of those once you join. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for sticking around till the end. If you liked it, comment below, like this video, subscribe, share it with someone you know that you think might find it helpful. All of those help me out a lot, and I really appreciate it. Talk to you soon.